Hey Pisces, welcome to Taryn here. Welcome to the place where we empower the high vibers. Hope all is well. Welcome to your collective reading for whenever you watch it. All right, don't worry about the time. It's whatever. Whenever you watch it, you watch it. If it applies, you know what I'm saying? We all good. All right, let's see what's going on. I come to you humbly, God, thanking you for your divine guidance, providing messages of divine light, divine love in accordance with your divine will. What is it that the Pisces collective need to know? Thank you. All right, what we got here? All right, Feast of Plenty, Choices and Their Consequences, a Lay of the Land, Ancestral Wisdom, and Unmarked Trail, Revelation. Okay, it does seem like there's many paths, many paths that are opened up to you, and I said past by mistake. The past, you need to walk away from that. But I do feel like that is also an option too, to go back into the past, to revisit the past, to rehash the past, or have a new beginning here. All right. Some of you guys, you do have to go back to past either environments or past relationships just to collect. It's like a soul collection, right? A soul retrieval. I'm getting some of that. That's important so that you can pull pieces back of yourself here. Certain places, certain relationships or environments, whether it's your childhood home, where you have to, even if you don't go there physically, but there's something about this energetic tie that you have to certain places, and you have to cut the tie off, and you have to collect yourself from there. Some of you guys, you might have like old objects or clothing or something that's reminiscent of the past. That's another way to just take your power back, by releasing those things. If you have things that your ex gave you, if you're still holding on to gifts, things that your ex gave you, but they broke your heart, and you still find that you're still having hope about them. It's something about you holding on to the objects that you have of theirs, if you do carry any of them. All right. Some of you guys, it is physical places and objects. Some of you guys, it's just an energetic thing. Either way, you have to pull your power back from these situations so that you can move forward. Okay. This unmarked trail, it just feels very blank. And what I mean by that is because there's no expectations. It's just, I don't even know what's coming up next. That type of energy. All right. So the first step to going into this new beginning, this Fool energy, is going back and collecting yourself, collecting pieces of yourself from relationships from the past, or releasing objects from the past, and pretty much closing out these doors once and for all. This is ultimately just talking about closing out doors so that you can move on to your new paths, so your new options that are opening up here. The old options are no longer options. They're no longer viable options. You can always go back to them and make it an option, but it's not the best option for you. Okay? You had an old set of options, and I feel like it's not just one. It's an old collective of options. It could be a group of people, or it could just be a bunch of exes that you had, but you still had the door open. That whole collective of just old options needs to be tossed out, so a new set of options could come in. Okay. All right, let's see. What's up with Pisces? All right, so we have the Two of Swords coming through. Yeah, it is this, it's this gateway here. It's this gateway, this portal into a new beginning. But before you do that, you do have to close out the old options and just say, yeah, no mas. Okay, we do have the Justice card coming through. It is a decision to make. You can definitely go back and try to rekindle the past, but it's not suggested. That's all. They're just saying it's not suggested. You do have better options on the way. It just doesn't seem like it's right in front of your face. So that's why it feels like this unknown, unmarked territory feels blank. It's like, I don't even know, if I close out all these options, would I just be alone? What happens next, right? So obviously that's a fear to get over. You have to make a conscious decision here. Instead of, the universe isn't going to step in and push you to close out these doors. They are going to provide the opportunity for you to see it for yourself, to see why these options are not viable, why they're no longer working for you. The thing is, if you still stay and keep those options alive, it's because you just still have more to learn. That's it. It really just comes down to that. If you learn the lessons from these situations and everything played out, then you just be over it and you move on, you know. So if you still feel the need to keep these options open, it's because it's just more karma that needs to be played out. But it really doesn't have to be, you know. You don't have to continue to learn this lesson. I feel like you've learned enough in these old options, these set of old options, a set of the past. Right now, you're extending their stay in your life, and they don't need to be there. But if you want to keep it there, that's fine too. You know, you'll just go into another layer of karma with them. That's all. All right. Yep, we have the Two of Cups coming through with the King of Wands. I feel like there's some past energies, in these options, you know, you still feel like there's a lot of fire left there. There is a lot of unanswered questions. That's what I feel. It's some unanswered questions. And so you might be falling into this, it could be I don't want to say a trap. That's a little harsh for this conversation, but I feel like it just feels like you might be going back to see, like, is there any more left? How is this story going to end? And I think there is a moment here. Sometimes you won't get that closure, right? Sometimes things are left in limbo, and it does seem like there's a couple of things that have been left in limbo, and you're just going to have to walk away for your own sake, even without getting all the answers. You don't have to squeeze all the juice out of this. I think at this point you could just say, well, if it didn't happen now, then screw it. And I think you are being let to do that. That's just that's how you're taking your power back instead of having the ball in their court. Because this energy is feeling like you're dealing with certain situations where things are in limbo because of the other person. So you're pretty much leaving the power in their hands to determine what happens in your love life, if this is love, right? And you have to make a decision like, well, I can't keep waiting around for them. If they haven't decided, if they're confused, then that's up to them, and they're just going to have to catch up to me. But I'm going to go on to my new set of options now, because it has played its part long enough. It's like it can't be this perpetual, I don't know, in limbo stage. It can't stay in limbo forever. Someone has to cut the ties here. But if the person has a power in their hands, they don't have any incentive to take it out of limbo. They're okay with dipping in and out. You're the one that's not okay with them dipping in and out. So that's why you have to make a decision. The empowering stance will be, all right, let's see what my new set of options are. Let me close this out, because that's just going to be forever in limbo. It's going to be forever. Will they do it? Will they not? You know, and it's just not. It's not the healthiest situation, but it's not taken away from the fact that there isn't love there. There is love, there is passion, there is fire. But it just doesn't feel like it's being, it might be taken for granted. And that's it. So you're going to have to lay the law down like, all right, you know what? You're not going to make a decision, so I'm going to make a decision. At least that's what you're being led to do. We have the Queen of Cups coming through in our verse here. Yeah, it's just coming. It's a battle of the heart and the mind with the Ten of Swords. Yeah, we have the Ten of Swords coming through with that Queen of Cups. I feel like internally, with this Queen of Cups coming out in reverse, you're not feeling good about these situations, even though it has a lot of love, or it could just be one situation, but it has a lot of love. But you're not feeling fulfilled, emotionally fulfilled, because they're not giving you what you want. If they're not giving you what you want, then you are going to have to make the decision and not give them the excuse of, well, they're not giving me what I want, but they do love me. Love is not enough. Like they have love for you, and sure, the connection is there, but are they acting on it? What are they doing about this love? Do they feel drawn to this love enough to actually take action here? That's what needs to be said, to act right. Essentially, you know, whether you guys are in a relationship or not, it's a matter of them acting right in this relationship. But for some reason, it feels like things that are not, it doesn't feel like a relationship, to be honest. It feels like the potential is just hovering, and because its potential is just hovering over someone's head and not being fulfilled, it's just this Ace of Cups just hovering over these two people. And it's like, when are you going to grab this cup? When are you going to grab this cup? After a while, it's like, okay, so you're just going to sit there and let it, you're just going to keep me on ice? Well, then I have to move on. Emperor card coming through. You will feel empowered if you do that, okay? That Ten of Swords is like, this is pain. You're feeling the pain of it. You're feeling emotionally unsettled by the situation because you don't know which way it's going to go. The Emperor card is you taking power and ownership of the situation and of your own life here, not putting the ball in their court and you putting it back in yours. Saying, you know what, I'm making a decision. I'm done. And this is you. This is part of the soul collection, the soul retrieval, because this person had too much of a, they had too much of a hold, or they were pulling strings simply by not making a choice to choose you, if this is the case, okay? This can apply to different situations, but right now what I'm getting here does feel like a little bit of romance. There's some fire here. This could have been a lot of sexual tension, a lot of sexual energy, but then it didn't go further. It didn't go further into actual love because someone didn't want to grow it. So it stayed in that weird limbo sexual tension stage without the love actually coming, which it was a lot of potential for. There was potential for love here. But if they're not trying to choose love, then there's nothing you could do about that, right? And you shouldn't wait around for them. I understand providing grace and all that, but after a while you're gonna have to say, okay, I waited long enough. I gave you way too much grace, okay? So with the Nine of Cups, the Six of Cups coming through, this is that energy of the past, the soul collection. The Knight of Wands, I'm getting a little bit of, in order for someone to close it out, I'm getting a little bit, this might have already happened, okay? Or someone might be doing this to you. I'm getting some quick communication here, like once and for all, tell me what it is. You know, that's what I'm getting here with this Knight of Wands, where it's like, let's cut through the fog, let's cut through the fat, let's get to the meat of the issue here. Do you want to be with me? Do you not? If not, let me know now. Be real. Now, if this person has stayed in limbo for so long, they might not be able to be real. So you're just going to have to make that decision anyway. But I do see someone being a little bit frustrated with their communication. You might reach out, or they might reach out to you with their same tricks, and then you're going to have to check them. Let's look more into that Knight of Wands. Oh, let's use this deck. Let's use a Lenormand, see what's going on. Yeah, all right. So with this Knight of Wands, we do have this love card coming through. I mean, it's no doubt there is love here. Yeah, this is a conversation. This one is, let's say this is you. You're talking to this knight who has a bunch of options and they're not choosing anyone. So you know that you are the right one and you're looking at them deal with these other options and you're just like, are you going to choose me yet? Are you done playing the field? That's the energy that I'm getting here. Whether it's a conversation or it's just a decision in your mind, there is this realization of, oh, they just want to play the field. They see the love here. They just want to play. So you know what? I'm going to find someone who's ready. At least that is an opportunity here, right? Four of Swords coming through. There's nothing else to think about in this situation. As I mentioned earlier, you don't have to squeeze this as much as possible. You don't have to stay in this situation, stay in this limbo and suffer and wait for them to finally come back around. You don't have to do that. That does not have to be your story here. You can find someone who's actually ready for love. This person is not the end all be all. They're not the only soulmate that you're going to run into. All right. But we do have that Four of Swords coming through. It seems like you might have allowed yourself to be put on ice, or you even put the situation on ice yourself. You might not have felt completely ready, whatever the case is, or they weren't ready and you just allowed for it to just be put on pause and gave them a little bit of grace. That's what I'm getting. You gave them grace, but now it's like, enough is enough. It's like, if you don't get it now, then you're not going to get it. There is a wish that they will take you off of ice and stop playing around and realize that you are the one, or at least admit to it. Okay, I'm not getting this level of like maturity where they can admit to it, even if they feel it. Here we are with the Five of Swords coming out in reverse. I don't doubt that they don't feel it. I think they do feel it. They do feel the connection here. They just weren't emotionally equipped or ready. They are growing, they are evolving, but they still don't feel equipped to actually have the real talks yet. So just be mindful of that. Even if you do reach out and say, hey, do you want me or do you want them? What are you going to do? Don't expect like a complete like honest opinion or an honest display of their emotions at this time. And so you would have to just, you make your decision here. But either way, we have the Five of Swords coming out in reverse. They were being selfish, ultimately, okay? Putting you on ice, it was them being selfish. It's coming out at this final income. I don't know why I'm stuttering now. Oh, this person, I think they are growing. They're realizing what they're doing to you, and then now they're feeling a little bit embarrassed. Okay. They're playing around in the field and they realize that you were the right one, and now they're feeling embarrassed. So they don't really know how to say, I was wrong, I was immature, I was young and dumb. They don't know how to do that. But if they don't know how to do that, then they're not going to be able to express other emotions neither. It's just telling of their how equipped they are emotionally to handle their emotions and then express their emotions. This is just one aspect of expressing their emotions. So if they can't be honest and be real about how they feel right now because their ego is so strong, then that is telling about how they will move in a relationship anyway. And is that someone that you want to be with, right? Okay. Now, we do have that Five of Swords coming through once again. It's coming out and the final outcome in reverse because it is about releasing yourself from this imbalance and selfish situation, and then letting them fend for themselves. Making them fight for you if they want to, right? Once again, I don't know if they will. Don't do it for that reason. Do it for your own self-empowerment. That is a lesson here. It's taking your power back from the situation, not having a ball in their court, not letting them determine how you move in your life, because essentially they were. Because you had them in your energy, you were not able to actually go out and be open to other people because you had this person in the back of your mind that they would come back around. So essentially they were controlling and pulling strings in your love life in the background, even if you were meeting new people. This is why you have to take your power back from the situation. Snip, snip, cut the ties, because it's ultimately, even though it's love here, they're selfish. And even if they're growing, they haven't learned how to not be selfish yet, right? They haven't learned how to be a giving and generous lover. They are growing into that eventually, but if you waited long enough, how much longer do you want to wait? You don't have to. It's not empowering at this point. And you have, once again, better options coming in. All right. So you're holding on to this old option, which is a 1.0 version of a soulmate when you got a 2.0 that's coming through. Just drop this one, release it. You're going to have a 2.0 that's coming in after this by setting the tone, by cutting the tie and empowering yourself. Okay. Ultimately, that's what's happening here. Wow. Okay. This was very straightforward. This is a very straightforward reading. But yeah, let me know what you think. Feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment, add me on IG. Taryn Hill, thank you. And until we meet again, peace.